probably know someone who never stops moving. They get to work before anyone else, stay late, accept every extra shift they can. And yet, by the 20th of the month, they're counting coins just to pay the electricity bill. It's the cruelest paradox of our time. We've been sold the idea that sweat equals success. But if you look around, you'll see the world is full of people who work themselves to the bone and still stay poor, while others, who seem to work a lot less, keep stacking wealth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Working hard is only the minimum requirement to not sink. It's not, even remotely, the secret to becoming rich. In fact, for most people, overworking is the trap that keeps them from seeing the one real reason they never reach financial freedom. It's not a lack of motivation. They're playing a game designed so the hamster runs until exhaustion, and the wheel doesn't move an inch. To understand why effort doesn't automatically turn into wealth, we have to talk about the difference between selling your time and building assets. About 95% of the world has been trained to sell their life by the hour. They tell you, study hard, get good grades, and find a good job. What they're really saying is, learn to put a price on an hour of your life and pray someone buys it for the next 40 years. The math problem is obvious. Time is finite. You only have 24 hours in a day, same as the richest people on Earth. If your wealth depends entirely on your physical presence and direct effort, you have a glass ceiling you'll never break, no matter how hard you work. Imagine you're an amazing professional and you manage to earn 100 euros an hour. That's an incredible rate, right? But if you get sick, you stop earning. If you go on vacation, you stop earning. If you sleep, you stop earning. You're trapped in a dependency relationship with your own body. Rich people, on the other hand, understand that hard work is a temporary tool, used to buy assets that work for them. While most people work for money, the wealthy make money work for them. And in 2026, that's not just a quote, it's a technical reality. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket without you needing to be there. It could be a rental property, software, dividend-paying stocks, or a business that runs through systems. The difference between being rich and simply being well paid is the percentage of your income that comes from assets versus the percentage that comes from your sweat. The second reason most people never build wealth is lifestyle inflation. It's a silent disease that hits the moment you get a raise. You've seen it or lived it. You earn 1,500 euros and somehow you survive. Then you get promoted and you're making 2,500 euros. What do most people do? They move into a slightly more expensive apartment, buy a car with a higher monthly payment, and start eating at nicer places. Net result? By the end of the month, they still have 0 euros in real savings. They work harder, take on more responsibility, carry more stress, and their net worth is exactly the same. They're on a treadmill where the more they earn, the more they spend to maintain an image of success. An image that, ironically, is what prevents real success. In 2026, social pressure to consume is more aggressive than ever. Your feed is flooded with people who look like they're living on permanent vacation, and your brain feels the need to compete. But here's an uncomfortable truth. Wealth is what you don't see. Luxury cars parked in middle-class neighborhoods are often just debt on wheels. Real wealth sits quietly in investment accounts owned by people who drive normal cars and wear clothes without giant logos. Most people spend money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people who don't care. That's the perfect recipe for lifelong financial slavery. Another major factor is the lack of leverage. Leverage is the ability to do more with less. A hard worker uses their hands. A wealthy person uses a lever. There are 4 types of leverage in the modern world. Capital, using money to invest, labor, hiring people, code, software that works 24/7, content, writing or recording something that can reach millions while you sleep. Most people only use the first level, their own labor. If you don't use leverage, you're limited by your physical strength. It's like trying to move a giant rock with your bare hands instead of using a mechanical lever. The person who uses the lever gets rich. The person who only uses their hands breaks their back. Now let's talk about education. We were taught how to be perfect employees, but nobody taught us how to be owners of capital. School teaches you to obey, follow schedules, and solve problems that already have answers. It doesn't teach you to tolerate risk, understand markets, or handle failure. Most people are terrified of failure, so they chase the security of a paycheck. But in 2026, security is a myth. A salary is one of the riskiest forms of income because it depends on a single source. If your boss wakes up in a bad mood, or if an AI can do your job for half the cost, your income can go from 100 to 0 overnight. A wealthy person diversifies income streams, so if one fails, the others keep the system alive. A hard worker puts all their eggs in the employment basket and prays the basket doesn't break. There's also a brutal psychological barrier, a scarcity mindset. Many people believe money is a zero-sum game. If someone wins, someone else must lose. They grow up thinking rich people are bad by nature. And if your subconscious believes money is negative, your brain will sabotage every opportunity to get it. You'll treat money like a problem to get rid of by spending it instead of a seed to plant by investing it. Wealth is the result of creating value for the market, not taking something from someone else. If you find a way to solve a problem for 1 million people, the market rewards you. It's that simple and that hard. Time also works against most people. They want results today, the car today, the trip today, the house today. But rich people share one common trait: delayed gratification. They're willing to sacrifice present comfort for future freedom. They'll live like nobody wants to for 5 years so they can live like nobody can for the rest of their life. Most people would rather finance the latest phone than invest €50 a month into a fund that could pay for their retirement in 20 years. Impatience is the biggest tax the middle class pays, and we can't ignore the tax system. The system is designed to tax labor and favor capital. If you're an employee, taxes are taken before the money even hits your account. You work from January to May just to pay the government. But if you own assets or a business, you earn money first, spend what's necessary to grow the business, and then pay taxes on what's left. That's a massive difference in rules. While you're trying to save what's left after taxes, the wealthy invest what's left after reinvesting into their assets. So, what's the solution? It's not about stopping hard work. It's about working hard on the right things. If you're an employee today, your first job is your paycheck. But your second job, the most important one, is building your freedom. You need to become an investor before you become a consumer. Every euro you save and invest is an employee working for you. At first, you'll have a tiny team of 10 employees that barely pays for a coffee each month. But if you keep feeding that team with discipline, one day your paper employees will earn more than you ever could with your hands. Real wealth isn't having a lot of stuff. It's having options. It's being able to say no to a toxic boss, no to a schedule that keeps you from your family, and no to a life of constant stress. Most people never get there because they get stuck trying to impress others with things they don't actually own, paid for with time they'll never get back. The path to wealth is boring. It requires discipline. It requires learning things nobody taught you in school. And most of all, it requires stopping the purchase of pretty lies packaged as easy credit. Don't blame yourself if you've followed the traditional path so far. That's what we've been sold since childhood as the only option. But in 2026, with information at your fingertips, staying ignorant is a choice. Hard work is the engine, but you still need the map and the steering wheel. The map is financial education. The steering wheel is your ability to control spending impulses. If you combine effort with assets and leverage, the glass ceiling disappears. Next time you catch yourself working extra hours to buy a new impulse purchase, ask yourself if it's really worth the hours of life you're trading away. Money can be earned back. Time is the only asset that disappears every second. Don't be the person working hardest in the wrong direction. Be the one who understands wealth is a game of systems, not sweat. If this video made you rethink why, despite all your effort, your finances never seem to take off, don't let that feeling fade. Make one small decision right now. Look at where your money is going today. Identify one unnecessary expense you could turn into your first investment and start building your own financial lever. Change doesn't happen because you watched a video. It happens when you apply what you learned in real life. Think about what we covered. Look at your numbers honestly and decide. Do you want to keep running on the wheel, or do you want to own the system? See you in the next one.